age at all. So with that being said, this stereotype, although it's often praised, it can create an emotional cage where experiencing vulnerability or asking for help might feel like a betrayal of strength. Embracing vulnerability is more about recognizing that true strength includes the ability to be open, receive support, and acknowledge your emotions. So, again, we are rejecting the stereotype of what it means or what society tells us that we have to be a strong Black woman. Listen, if you are only showing up for yourself, if you are, excuse me, if you're only showing up for everybody else and you are rejecting showing up for yourself, if you are hiding, if you will, by putting everybody first and yourself last or never even on your list at all, then you are going to burn out. You are going to be feeling like you have some resentment in you. You're going to want to stop showing up for everybody else. You're going to be angry, a little bit angry, have a little bit of an attitude, little snide remarks coming out because you have forgotten to put yourself on the top of your list. So we want to stop doing that in 2025. No longer are we putting everybody before ourselves. We do not have to show up and be the strong Black woman for everybody except ourselves. Be strong for yourself. Show up for yourself. Say no when you need to. Like I talked about that yesterday, using the power of your no. No is a complete sentence. You do not have to lean into and or show up for everybody and stop showing up for yourself, or never show up for yourself. So it's okay to be strong when you need to be strong, but we're not holding on to this title of a strong Black woman day in and day out. That's just not what we're doing. So today we're actually going to go over 3 different ways to reject this strong Black woman stereotype and how to embrace your vulnerability, because little do we know, or little do most of us understand, that vulnerability is actually strength. Showing and sharing your vulnerability is a strength that not a lot of people can lean into because they're too afraid to show up and just be themselves. So we're not doing that anymore in 2025. We are honoring ourselves. So one of the first ways to reject this Black woman or strong Black woman stereotype is to create space for authentic emotions. Sometimes you have to plan to say X, Y, and Z. You're not necessarily planning the emotional part of it, but you may plan what you want to say. But creating space for authentic emotions is where this is allowing you as a Black woman to fully express yourself, the full range of your emotions, from joy to sorrow, from frustration to fear, or I should say, and fear. This is an opportunity to be seen as fully a woman, not a robot, not strong all the time, not somebody who doesn't need help or support. You need all of those things as well. And all of this encompasses the emotional depth that this entails. Like literally, I had a client that was finding themselves kind of in tears or crying because of the joy in the space to just be. Like we had a session and we were talking about different things, and she was like, I just want to be. And then we talked the next time, so a different session, and she was like, I felt so good being able to just be, to sit, to not run around, to not have to feel like I have to talk to and or entertain the people around me. She said, I really enjoyed my company. This is what rejecting the strong Black woman stereotype looks like. It means honoring what you want, honoring your needs, honoring the fact that, you know what? I don't want to be strong anymore. I don't want to be seen as strong anymore. What I want to do is feel like I can just be in a space, whether it's with my friendship circle, whether it's with my partner or spouse, or anybody else that is around me, I want them to fully see me. I had another client where she was just saying how she was very nervous because she was finishing up her military career, and she felt like she didn't fit in with her family any longer because nobody understood her, nobody saw her, nobody was able to connect with her on that level, because she, again, she had a military career, she literally just retired. And when she would go back home and like hang out with her old classmates and friends, she always felt like she needed to be quiet, like she couldn't add anything to the conversation. And that's just not something that we want to do. And it's because a lot of them seen her as the strong one. She was the monetary money. She was the monetary person, support system for everybody else. But when it came time for her to seek and get the support that she needed, she couldn't get it. And a lot of it is because she was not verbally showing and showcasing her vulnerability to her circle because she was so scared of what they were going to say. And so I don't want you to worry about what others are going to say. I just want you to really own who you are and be able to show up in this space, because this literally is what is how you're going to become a better dater. This is another way to become a better dater. Like we talked about several ways yesterday. Today is rejecting the stereotype of being a strong Black woman, because each and every day we are not going to be strong. There are absolute moments where you need to just break down, cry, the ugly cry. I'm talking about the ugly cry where you got the snot and the tears going and you just kind of balled over. And no, you don't need to always do that, but there are definitely times where that needs to occur. So you have to learn to be vulnerable and show up the way that you need to show up, no matter how you feel others are going to take in what you have just said, by you quote unquote exposing yourself to your friendships. And I want you to think about this. If you cannot fully show up in your relationship, fully show up in your friendship circles, you need to rethink those circles. You need to rethink that partnership. Because if you feel like you always have to hide, if you feel like you always have to dumb it down, if you feel like you can't speak and say what you need to say because of what others are going to say about you, these are supposed to be people that's your ride or die. Your friendship circle is supposed to be the people that is going to ride or die for you. Your partner should also be a part of that ride or die. So if you have your partner specifically that is just shutting you down, where you can't fully express yourself, you feel like you can't share a portion of yourself with this person, there's something wrong with that picture. There's something wrong with you and your partnership. Let me just say it like that. And you need to ask yourself some tough questions, even if this means letting this person go. Because being in a relationship and choosing a partner to do life with, and specifically even till death do you part life with, you want it to be with someone who is for you, that is ride or die for you, that will allow you to be you, that will allow you to show up without any makeup, that will allow you to show up in just your PJs. And I'm not saying all the time, because you still want to keep it sexy and classy and all that stuff. But if you feel like you always have to be turned on, if you always have to be the way they met you on the outside, then that is a problem, because nobody will look like that all the time. And so if your partner makes you feel this way, they may have never said that you always have to be on and makeup and hair and all that stuff, but you feel something in you, they probably not the right one for you. And or you should be able to test it out to see if he or she is willing to allow you to just be you. Sometimes you just got to test things out, because a lot of times we'll get in our head and we think that our partner or spouse is feeling a certain type of way, but they're not. It's something that we are feeling. It is something that it's internal for us. And so sometimes we just got to check ourselves. And if that's you, maybe today is your day that you need to check yourself, and it has nothing to do with your partner. So we're not doing these things in 2025. The second way to reject being a strong Black woman is to redefine strength as wholeness, not resilience alone. Okay. So just not resilience alone. redefine strength as wholeness. True strength is not about enduring, it's about embracing wholeness, which includes admitting to the fact that when help is needed, when help is needed, and sharing the softer side of you, your emotional side is there. That's something that you need to lean into. Now, wholeness is defined as the state of being unbroken or undamaged or good physical and or mental health. This is a more holistic view of what strength actually is. A lot of us lean into thinking that when we are being vulnerable, that we are being weak. And it's actually the complete opposite. When you show up and you can be vulnerable with your partner, and again with your friends, your friendship circle, when you can just be completely you, that's when you know you got something good all around you. That's when you know that you are blessed and highly favored, because a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people do not have a friendship circle where the friend is not going to just let you get away with saying and or doing. Like, you might come to them with a sad story and you going down the road, and then they let you get all that out, which is a good thing for the friend. The friend lets you get all that out. However, they calling you to the fire. They talking about the things that you actually, from what you said, what they heard that you were doing wrong. And so they're able to call you to the fire and not just let you as their friend say what you want to say and or do what you want to do. If you don't have people around you that's calling you to the fire, then you're around the wrong people, because those people are not helping you grow. They are actually enabling you to be the exact same. In 2025, we're not trying to be the exact same. 2024 is gone. We want to do something completely different in order to get different results in 2025. The only way to do that is to think about, you could be up in your circle, meaning you might need to change some folks, you might need to enlist some new people, get out there in public and enlist some new friendships, get out there and do some things in order to attract some new people in your life. So it could be your friendship circle, but let's be real, it also could be the partnership. I know that we're talking about dating, but some of you are in relationships or even in situationships. And if you're not feeling like you are supported, if you don't feel like you can be truly just you, then you need to think about being with somebody else and or just cutting ties altogether, because that is where your strength comes from, is knowing that you can actually stand on your own 2 feet without needing to be in a relationship. It's great to be in one, but you don't want to just be in one just to be in a relationship. You want to be in a healthy, strong relationship. You want to be in a relationship where somebody is supporting you, not only physically and monetarily, money, you want them to be there for you emotionally as well. And they may be weak in one area, and that's okay, but you want the fuller package, because each of us always brings some type of weakness into the relationship. And again, that's okay, because none of us are perfect and you're not looking for a perfect partner. However, you do want the person that you choose to say, okay, I see you, flaws and all. I was listening to someone that I follow on social media, and her boyfriend got on there, and she said that this was the first time she felt that she can actually take off her mask. And what she said specifically was be able to just take off her lashes, take off her wig, not wear any makeup. And she felt like this was the very first time in her life. And I know for certain, she's in her 40s. This is the first time in her dating life that she felt like she can just be herself in this relationship. I'm not saying that they don't have any problems, but what I am saying is if you can't feel like you can just show up as yourself, you're in the wrong relationship. You're in the wrong relationship if you can't just show up as yourself. You're in the wrong relationship if you can't take off those lashes. You're in the wrong relationship if you can't take off your wig. And I'm talking about because you want to take it off. Where the world sees you as this dolled up, beautiful, whatever. Your partner needs to see you like that as well. However, they still need to see the true you. You don't want to always be on when you go home. I was literally just talking to my daughter tonight, and I know you all out there can feel me when I talk about I wanted to come home and just take off this bra. Like, if I can't just come home and throw this bra off, I'm in the wrong relationship. If when you are out there dating, and maybe that's too soon because you're dating, but by the time you get into a relationship, if you don't feel like you can just truly be yourself with the person, you chose wrong. That's okay. Just don't stay. It's okay. Just don't stay. I want you to think about and evaluate how the person that you are giving yourself to, or potentially will give yourself to, makes you feel. Which is why, this is a side note, but this is why when I'm working with my clients, why I tell them that they need to take some breaks. What do I mean by that? You should not only be in their presence for hours and hours and hours and hours, especially in the very beginning. You have to take some breaks so the endorphin level can come down and you can truly evaluate if you actually want to be in this relationship, not just going along with it because it feels good. The endorphins are high, but when you don't take breaks, it stays up high. Endorphins they're just going. You have to take a break. Maybe you just say, hey, for the next day or so, I'm busy. And your busy is you coming down off of that high. So you can evaluate, how did you feel on this date? Did y'all talk about some of the values that are important to you? Right? When he was speaking, did he sound like he wanted the type of relationship that you want? Because not everybody wants to be married. Not everybody wants a long-term relationship. Don't get it twisted. I remember I was dating this guy. This is many years ago at this point. But I remember when I was dating him, because I met him online like a lot of us do. And I remember he said, I asked him because on his profile it said that he wanted a relationship. Lo and behold, he ain't want no doggone relationship. I'm not going to dog him out. He just didn't want a relationship. This is why you got to ask questions, right? So he didn't want a relationship. And then when we stopped talking, because we was literally in a situationship and or just kind of dating here and there, right? And so once I got over my emotional attachment to him, I was able to go back to him and have some conversation with him. And I asked him a while back, how come you put that you wanted a relationship when you don't want a relationship? Like when we have conversations, you don't want a relationship. And he said, essentially, he just said, when I put that I want a relationship, I get a lot more attention. People want to go out with me more just because I have that on there. And so he knows intellectually, if he put on there that he want like whatever the equivalent is to a one night stand or not serious or whatever the things are that tell you that he don't really want nothing. When you put that there, if you're a woman that's looking for a serious relationship, you're not going to entertain him. And so he needed people to entertain him. And I was one of the people that did entertain him. But again, I was able to ask him questions, but it was after the fact. It was not while we was dating. This is why when I'm working with a client, I'm telling them over and over again, you have to ask those really tough questions. I'm not saying going with a whole list. I'm not saying going with a whole list, at least today. Slow down the questions, but ask the ones that are the most important for you. This is why you got to ask questions ahead of time. This is why I actually work with Black women over 40, because a lot of us bumped our heads. A lot of us didn't get the tools, the information, the strategies that we needed before we said I do. So I was a part of that statistic. If I can help you not be a part of that statistic, then I have fulfilled my God-given purpose here. I'm helping you to not do what I did. Okay, so now let's move on to point number 3 on how to stop being the strong Black woman and get away from that stereotype. You have to improve your relationships through being open. I said this, vulnerability strengthens your connections. Vulnerability strengthens your connections with others, allowing for deeper and more honest relationships. By rejecting the need to always appear strong, Black women can foster closer bonds with their friends, their partners, and their family members. I know this to be true, but I want you to know it as truth. Just think about your friendships. Forget the partnership at this moment, especially if you're not in one. But just think about your friendships. The people that you truly want to be around the most are the people that you feel the best around. These people make you feel good. These people make you feel seen. You feel heard with these people. It's no different in your partnerships. You have to be able to be open to share your vulnerability and see that as a strength. It is not a weakness to share how you are feeling. It is not a weakness. You have to be willing to show up and share who you are, no matter who is around. Now, obviously you want to do this in the safety and you don't feel like you're being judged, but I'm specifically talking about your friendship circle as well as your partner. Because your family, they gonna do what they do. Your family gonna do what they do, including but not limited to your children. But you have a choice in the people that you call your family, i.e., that's gonna turn into your partner, i.e., those friendships, that those people that are in your friend circle that's gonna be around for a long time. You can choose those people. And so if you don't feel like you're seen, you're heard, you always get cut off, right? You're never allowed to finish your sentences. They always have something to say negative. They're negative Nancy. Anytime you bring something positive to them, they always being the negative person or bringing you down or asking why you think you can do that. Or this could also be a thing. This is something that I experienced. I had a friend that I stopped being friends with her because I felt like I could never complete my sentence. And it was because, so I could never complete my sentence. But on top of that, everything that I said that I was doing or wanted to do, she had already been there, done it. Honestly, it did not matter what I said. She had already done it. And after a while, that just became so taxing and just the weight of it was so heavy. And then I noticed that whenever we would hang out, I felt like I couldn't really express myself. I would like hold back. And I was just like, you know what? Now, I did have a conversation with her. So it wasn't like I just dropped the conversation. I actually had a conversation with her and I gave her time to actually change her ways, if you will. And I just found like it kept happening over and over and over again. And I was just like, all right, I ain't got time to train you. Like I ain't even getting none out of this. I'm not even getting nothing. Like the friendship, yes, but I mean like a romantic side, I'm not getting none of that out of this. So what am I doing here? If you don't feel heard in the relationships that you choose and the people that you choose to be around you, that is a problem. And you have to woman up, make the tough decision that maybe you're going to be alone, not lonely, alone for a period of time until you find the people that are really going to add value to your life, the people that you can truly be yourself so you can add value to their lives as well. So we not owning the strong Black woman stereotype in 2025. That's just not what we're doing. 2024 is gone. All the play is gone. Like every year we're getting older and older. You see, this gray hair is not here for any other reason other than I'm getting older and older, just like I'm sure you're getting older and older, right? So we don't have time to keep playing these same games year and year after year after year after year. At some point, we have to woman up and take control of our lives. And that's one of the things, and I keep saying one of the things because I teach my clients that work with me one on one a lot of different strategies and tools that I didn't have access to or just didn't know. This is what I'm here for. This 30 days that I am here talking to you live at this time. This is why I'm doing this, because we're not here for the play in 2025. We're learning how to become better daters, and or be, if you're in a relationship, you could take a lot of what I'm saying and apply it to your current relationship and see if that is the relationship that you should be in. Because if you didn't know, now you have to give your partner the opportunity to hear you out, like hear your complaints, hear yourself out, and then give them the opportunity to actually start to switch and change his behavior. The thing about it is he probably won't, or he could change for a period of time and then he reverts back. And he's doing that because he tried to change for you instead of it being an internal thing where he wanted to change for him. And then that bleeds out into his relationship with you. So that's okay. That's okay if you're in a relationship and you're like, oh, dang, my man is doing some of the things that she's talking about. That's okay. But at some point, you're going to have to make the tough decision to say, okay, I'm okay with how this relationship is going. I'll just stay in my mediocrity, or not being seen or heard or whatever. You have to make a decision. All of that is a decision. Even when you say, I'm not making a decision today, you still made a decision. You made the decision not to decide. You still made a decision. I'm not going to choose today. You made the choice. You chose not to choose today. Right? So everything that you're doing, you're still making a choice, whether you realize it or not. This process of rejecting a limiting stereotype allows Black women to cultivate healthier, fuller lives. We must embrace our vulnerability. It is powerful. It is an intentional act of self-acceptance and empowerment. So here's what I would like for you to do. If you're just joining me, I would like for you to either journal, like pen and paper journal, and or put something into your device where you are going to journal and show up for yourself over these next 30 days and figure out if you are the problem or both of you are the problem, right? I personally had to take a look in the mirror when I got a divorce and I was in the dating stages for about 15, 17 years. And I literally at some point, like toward the end, I was in that roller coaster because, when you're in the dating stage, you're not dating all of those months. So there were some months where I was dating, the other months I wasn't. So then I was dating and I wasn't, whatever. So there's a whole roller coaster for about 15, 17 years. And in that roller coaster, towards the end, I literally had a tough conversation with myself and I said, Marshawn, you're the only common denominator in all of these relationships. So you're not getting to the next level. You're not, being dated seriously. You being in situationships, you whatever. You're the only common denominator. And at that point, I stopped dating for about 2 years. I gave, I gave myself a detox from dating and just being out in a dating scene. And so I learned a lot of these tools and strategies in that time frame. And then I started, I would wait for that phone call from that ex or situationship person. And then I would meet them in person. And, we would go through the pleasantries. And when we would meet in person, I would just ask them, like, hey, why didn't we go to the next level? And they gave me various reasons why. I'm not super crazy or anything like that. I ain't slashing tires, doing sugar and tank and all that stuff. I don't even know if they do that nowadays, but I'm not keying your car. That was never my thing. But anyway, they still gave me some things to work on, like being overly clingy, not liking to hear the word no. And so honestly, the feedback that I got from my exes and situationship men, I applied when I started dating. I have read multiple books. I have done courses. I've talked to people, couples that have seemingly really good relationships, and every single one of those people have been through something. It was not angst free or problem free relationship and or marriage. So I've done a lot of work on myself. I had to get over my own insecurities and fears to be able to show up to just be me. Everything that I'm teaching and wanting to share here with you is the very thing that I had to do to and with myself. And so when I'm working with my Black women over 40, some men as well, but mainly Black women over 40 is who I help to serve, to help them to show up differently in all of their relationships, where now they will get the tools and strategies to be able to utilize their power of their no, whether it's with a partner or with their friendship, and especially on the job, being able to ask for what the things that they want and need. I help them to cultivate not only the relationship with themselves, but the relationship with the people in their lives, the people that they deal with day in and day out. And so I am specifically having the door open to work with Black women 40 plus, because at this point, you should be sick and tired of being sick and tired, bumping your head, still trying to figure out why this relationship is not working. And guess what? I am a no nonsense coach. I'm not just going to align with you because we are women. If you wrong, I'm going to point out your wrongness. If you right, I'm going to give you accolades on being right. Once you start speaking up for yourself and showing up for yourself and being vulnerable and not accepting the behavior that we have come accustomed to accept, right? This strong Black woman showing up for everybody, giving to everybody except yourself. No, you got to put yourself on your own list. And that's what I help Black women to do. Put ourselves on our own list. So it's not just the external confidence that you have the internal confidence. Like I remember working with a client not too long ago, and she was talking and she was just giving me all of this good game, right? And I was just like, let me ask you a question. And she was like, of course. And I said, do you have low self-esteem? And we were on the phone, so I didn't hear, but I felt like I heard her literally drop her head. And then she kind of whispered, yeah, I do. And we talked and worked through some of that. And this is not an overnight thing. Most of us have been ingrained time and time again, day in and day out, years and decades on what we're doing wrong. That's not what I do. But I do point out when you are wrong. Yes, don't get that twisted. I do. Because again, if you don't have somebody around you that's pointing out the things that you're doing wrong as well as right, you are not in the right circle. You don't have the right people around you. And the only way to grow is to get the right people around you. Now, yes, I'm a coach. I'm all for helping you. I'm all for helping you to get to the next level for sure. If that's where you're ready, if that's what you want and you're ready to do it, because there is work. This is not easy stuff to do. Changing your life is not easy. If it was easy, everybody be doing it, but everybody's not doing it. A lot of us revert back, and because we're reverting back, that reverting back comes from not having the help along the way, getting the accountability, being called to the couch, if you will, being called to the fire, being called on your stuff. A lot of us have people around us that placate us, that just have yes people around us. That's not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing in 2025. It's just not what we're doing. What we're doing is we're showing up differently. What we're doing is we are owning ourselves. What we're doing is we are owning our voice. What we're doing is fill in the blank. What are you willing to do differently? So now that I sidetracked, I'm going to come back and ring this in and say that I want you to journal. Make a decision to show up for the entire month of January. Coming here live because what I'm teaching is how to become a better dater. Again, if you're in a relationship, now it's time for you to reevaluate because it may not only be him. A lot of times when I'm working with people, I point out, I feel like this one's you, sis. And sometimes they agree. Don't get me wrong. He may not be doing X, Y, and Z, but we have to talk about you. We have to first work on you. So this right now is about working on you. This first week is all about you. Evaluating what you need to be doing, what you need to stop doing, etc. It's all about you. So in your journal, now let me get to it. This is your action step. In your journal, what I would like for you to journal about is a stereotype you're ready to shed and how this will affect your life when you do shed it. I'll say it again. Journal about a stereotype that you are ready to shed and how this will affect your life when you shed it. So now, as I already spoke, please remember though, traveling this journey of self-love does not have to be alone. It does not have to be an inner dialogue where you just keep it in here. No, it doesn't have to be that. This journey of yours is very special. And guess what? There is no need to walk it alone. If you're ready to dive deeper for more guidance, leave a message in the chat. I'll reach back out to you. Leave a message in the chat that you are ready. Actually say that I'm ready in the chat. I'll reach back out to you so we can talk about what that looks like to work together. Walking this journey doesn't have to be lonely. You just got to get the right people around you in order to help you to get to the next level in your life, whatever your next level is. Because when I am working with my Black women, I use tailored strategies depending on where they're at in their life in order for them to show up differently, better, softer, right? It being a choice with the people that they decide to have around them. And we do that so they can cultivate thriving relationships. But please understand, it doesn't mean that the relationship that you are in is the relationship you're going to stay in. That's my caveat. Because when you start growing, when you start seeing the thing that's maybe somebody else pointed it out, maybe that's what you need me for, right? But when you start really seeing the person for who they truly are, you start to evaluate and maybe just sit back. Because sometimes you just got to evaluate and watch. You say something and then you see the response or the reaction was not something that you thought was going to be, but it's something that happened or happens, right? And now you like, dang. And unfortunately, but fortunately, once you see, you can't unsee. Once you really hear and understand what they're actually saying, even if they're not really saying the exact line, I help you read between the lines of the message that he said because it's that important. 2025, you want to do something different? You want your life to be different? You have to be willing to do something different. Thank you so much for being here. Again, set your alarms. Let your friend know if you have a ride or die who might be the complaining partner to you. Let her know. We're going to be here all of January. Bring her journal because I'm going to give you some journal prompts so we can start getting some of that stuff out. So you can evaluate your life if you want something different. I'm Marshawn Alanio. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate you. I love you guys, and there's nothing that you can do about it. And I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is day 3. And if you want to see yesterday's, if you didn't see it, you can go ahead and check out yesterday's as well. All right. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye now.